Hey guys, B.O.L.T here. So, dual screen, I don't know how it's doing, but let's hope it actually records this and does good. Henry Stickmin will be finishing next weekend. Thanks to me, I finished completing the mission at night. There's like a few things. In the description will be the jump to the summary. But anyways, I've been purchasing more stuff for the boys, like Gary's Mod, Among Us, Fall Guys, Phasmophobia. I might make videos on it, I may not, I don't know. I just bought Fallout New Vegas on computer, so instead of that crappy thing that can, hey, it doesn't work now. We can now just play it whenever, so I'm not gonna redo another reboot. I'm gonna get to where I ended last time and play it from there. And right now I'm heading for Nipton, I believe. So I'm trying to remember actually. Actually, no, I've finished the Mojave outpost missions, and then I start heading for Nipton. Um, but we have Fallout New Vegas. Probably gonna be in a minute. Nancy Drew message in a haunted mansion. I don't know. I'm working on it. I think Bolt Fam will be kind of whenever I can get to it. Um, and then also I will be giving you guys a heads up. Um, I will no longer be just scheduling the videos because this is just exhausting. Also, I'm pretty sure no one likes to have scheduled out. Here's these videos. You have to watch these three in a row. I'm just gonna upload them at random. Um, I'll just make a list of what I need to make, and I'll make them whenever they come out. They come out. So after this week, next week is the last of it because Henry Stickmin being scheduled next weekend is the last of it being scheduled. So there's this summary, which is going to be going over episode as many as I can, and then I'm going to be trying to pick up whatever I didn't get done next weekend. But anyway, I got to make this real quick. So basically, that's how we're doing it for videos. After a while, I'm also working on the details of recording and all that. So, detail that I forgot about last time during the Walking Dead summary was that in the beginning of the game they meet the remains of a school, a teacher and his two students. Travis, Ben, and I don't know what the teacher was, but the teacher got caught in a bear trap, and you were to choose to either constantly try to work on the leg, cut it off, and eventually bring it back, or just give up and try to run with the boys. Um, if you try to give up, Travis tries to take the gun. He gets shot in the stomach lining. If you help the guy, you gotta cut off his leg and bring him back. But Travis is too late to save, so he dies. But no matter who it is, either you're trying to, you could bring them back to Katja to try to get them better, mend the wound of the cut off leg or mend the stomach lining. No matter what, they bleed out, and basically they turn, and Katja is almost killed. And they ask Ben, he wasn't bitten, right? We bring you into this camp thinking you were safe and you were bitten. And Ben reveals to everyone that no matter how you die, as long as it ain't head trauma, you become a walker. Um, anyways, coming into episode 3, we also learned a few little things from last time was there was bandits trying to work with St. John's in the ways of getting supplies from them, and then they were holding the students captive and saying, we want your supplies or else. Basically, there's bandits out there, and in the beginning of episode 3, we learn that everyone's kind of squeamish, like shore. Food is always in short supply, but supplies, period, are on short supply. So everyone's kind of they're trying to be as helpful as possible to each other, but yet everyone's getting antsy about what the stuff's coming. Depending on how it was, I don't think Doug helps you much else than create some stuff. Carly, um, she depending on how you treat her, she can have a relationship with Lee. Um, Lily decides to pull Lee across and say, "Hey, by the way, we're getting drugs taken, like literal the gold bar of this era where we need in case people get sick or hurt or anything. We need that kind of stuff." But it's getting slowly caught, like trimmed off the top and given and pushed out somewhere. Going on a little kind of tour around. Um, a thing that she does reveal is that Lily does know Lee's secret, and if she doesn't side with him, that kind of information can get out. You have the choice to tell everyone about it, and no one really cares because in this kind of era, you need someone that has that kind of experience to do what needs to be done. And Kenny just says, "I'm glad to have you around." But before he was told that he killed a guy, Kenny kind of was like, "You didn't touch kids, right? That's my only concern." Um, but that's basically everyone just threw it off, and that's basically it. Basically, as long as you tell everyone, um, it'll be fine for later purposes. But you go around looking for stuff. Duck tries to help you, being a little super sleuth. You find the meds outside the thing. Apparently, it's been marked up. Someone was inside the group or getting inside and taking their stuff and giving it away and just marking it as here's where the supplies are. So they go around asking, and before they can do anything, the people that were supposed to take the medicines come up, and it's the bandits that were in episode 2. And they say, "You screwed us. We're done. The deal's off." And it's pretty easy. It means someone was making a deal inside. Everyone gets in the RV and heads off. But thing is, they learn that Duck was bitten. And everyone's kind of in a holy crap mode and wonder what the hell happened. Eventually, they stop in the middle of it, and they run over Walker, so they get stuck. Kenny comes to try to yank it out while everyone else argues about what happened there. Lily becomes freaking crazy and pointing a gun around saying, "It was you, it was you." And before they can actually reach a conclusion and Kenny comes back, she shoots whoever you saved from episode 1, being Doug or Carly. And you're forced to get, it's like, before walkers come, we have to go. And here's another choice. It's either you leave Lily or you take her with you to do whatever you can. And either here or when you guys get to the train tracks, she spits out the truth about Lee. So it was a good thing to tell everyone before then. That way people can trust you and you're the one wanting to say something to them. That kind of smooths that part over if you do so. Getting to the train, you're trying to figure out what to do, trying to soothe the pain of Duck, who's slowly turning. You just like Carly, and everyone's kind of just, oh my god. And then if you do tend to take Lily with you, when you're in the middle trying to get the train working, because you do come up on a train and try to get it working, she takes the RV and goes off. You run into Chuck, I believe it was. Chuck, who is a loner. He lives in a train car, and he doesn't mind helping the others. I mind helping, the kids and all that. And he is the big reason why Lee teaches Clementine survival tips. Because eventually, it's in a world where little kids can't be kids anymore. They need to learn some kind of survival tactics. And as you're going around looking on Clementine, how everyone's mental state's doing, and also trying to get the train running, Katja eventually tells Kenny it's time. We have to go. Um, Actually, no, you do get the training running. He gets super sick in the middle of the train, and it's time to take down Duck. Either you leave him to die, or you have to take him out. But before this, Katja decides that she can't live in the world without her boy. This means Kenny loses his entire family. And depending on how you take it, either you're able to get Kenny away from the situation, or you make Kenny do it, or you take care of Duck. It helps Kenny in a certain way. Um, Basically saying either you're the best friend willing to watch out for his family in the very end, or you're a man, you need to do this for your family since you were the one trying to protect them. You need to help them no longer be in this crazy world, or you just try to get him away from the situation, which I say would be the worst thing, because you're basically telling them to walk away from a situation that is, they're saying it's not there. It's like that meme, this doesn't exist, and then there's an image of what you doesn't exist, and it's probably gonna haunt his memories for a while. But you get back on the train, and that's basically episode 3. Else, then you run across two new survivors, Omid and Krista. Even though we realize this in episode 4, Krista is pregnant with Omid's kid. But you meet them because a tanker is hanging off a highway bridge over it, blocking the way for the train. Basically, you go around. You have Clementine try to use survival tactics. You're able to cut down the train enough just to get through it. But of course, the walkers come, so they have to go. So Krista, Lee, and Omid have to make a jump for it, and of course Omid does not make it and injures his leg, and this starts messing with his health. Episode 4 runs around, and they get to Savannah, which is where they're going for Clementine's family. They make a stop here to try to get supplies and all that, and also try to find other people and other ways to get to safety. It's completely overrun. There's someone who's able to move around the city with bells. They get into a situation where they're all crowded. Chuck has to save Clementine because Ben's such a freaking little busy. That Chuck ends up getting cornered and isn't able to come with the group, so everyone runs into a house. They have to find uncover a dog's dead body to get the collar to get through the dog door. Letting Clementine go through, unlock the door. They go in, find whatever little supplies are left in the house. They have Omid lay down to try to let him rest for a little bit. Clementine, Lee, and Kenny. Actually, no, it's just, I believe Kenny and Lee go out to look for other things. Run across the person who is ringing the bells. Apparently, this is. I don't remember her name, holy crap, and she's my favorite character. But anyways, they run across another scavenger who has a ice pick tool, and she uses that to go around, grabbing onto buildings, being able to lift over certain things, and she also learned how to use the bells to make walkers swarm in a certain area. That way she can pick clean somewhere else. And she reveals that she was a part of a city, a township that was made in the apocalypse by whatever people were in the city. But eventually people realized that they can't use their supplies for the unhealthy, so they started killing or pushing out the unhealthy. This means children, elderly, anyone who has sickness or illness. And if you didn't leave when they were being nice about it, they eventually just killed and used you as another purpose. But anyway, she reveals that dark history. They get crowded again. Kenny wants to find a boat. every boat has been wrecked, or stripped of its parts. Um, they find themselves cornered. The new scavenger ends up having to tries to save herself, but ends up trying to save Clementine, who apparently shows up just to try to calm down the situation between the scavenger and Lee and Kenny. Um, but because of Clementine, she tries to spare them, so saves Kenny and Clem. But before she can save Lee, the walkers end up being too close. She drops her ice pick to uncover the manhole underneath him. He goes in there, goes around the sewers trying to find his way back home through the sewer line. Finds Chuck's dead. He finds a bunch of some ill survivors from the township. Um, Basically, he has to talk his way out to calm it down. And, and he realized that there's a doctor there. He needs him for Krista for the pregnancy, and for Omid for his injury with his leg. So he takes him to the house, gets everything checked out. Kenny finds a boat in the garage of the house. The house has a shed, and they find a boat, but it needs parts, so they need to raid the township of a battery and some other things. So they take the township people who know the ins and outs of it and are willing to do this. That way they have a space on that boat. They go in, find the parts, but realize that the township has been completely turned, so they have to go around a whole thing of walkers. It is revealed that Scavenger was doing nasty with the doctor to supply pills for her sister, I believe. Actually, no, it was it was her sister had an illness, and that's why. Or I believe there's someone with a baby, and they needed to do something to kind of save that person from certain things. But the doctor basically kept making stupid crap up to get into girls' pants, and basically he ends up getting killed after a while, and he becomes the reason why the township is turned. Found other parts. One of the illness survivors, a nurse or whatever, like a helper, her name's Veronica, ends up getting torn apart, even though she's the B of the group. They end up escaping. I believe the scavenger has a very big chance of dying. Ben screws up the leaving process by letting some walkers in. They're able to escape, get the parks back. I believe Kenny tries to repair it. Lee finds out that Clementine, I believe. Shoot, I'm trying to remember what happened. I believe Clementine dropped her walkie-talkie, and she was trying to find her parents and try to stay in Savannah to find her parents, but Lee has to say no, we have to move on. This, of course, makes a huge thing for episode 5. He goes to take a nap, and Clementine goes missing. He finds the walkie-talkie, gets bit by a walker. Main character not getting infected. And I'm trying to remember. I believe Kenny, Kristen, and Mead come out. Well, actually, also Ben. They all 4 of them come out. You have the chance to reveal it to them that you got bit or hide it. At this point, I believe the doctor of the illness people, either they would, depending on who you took, they took the boat, I believe. They lock them in, or they take the boat, period. Oh, wait, no. They go on to try to save Clementine. The boat is still there. So basically, they go on to a crusade to save Clementine from this other guy called the Marshall House Stranger, I believe it is. Basically, they're going for her, trying to make her way across, trying to get to a hotel that I guess he's held up at the Marsh House. Um, but the bite starts reacting to him. There's a huge chance of you can either cut off his arm to try to save him, but it's bleeding out and woozy. So you basically make it across. No matter what, Ben dies. Either you have to drop him um, off of a set of stairs, or when they're trying to jump onto jumping off of a balcony, jumping off a balcony to a rooftop. Ben, being the last person, ends up falling and getting impaled. Uh, and then here's the thing: either when he gets impaled, Kenny has to go down there. Kenny and Lee go down there to try to free him, but get swarmed. Kenny tries to save him, or at least put them both down, or try to save him. Period. But he ends up being swarmed. Um, or if you killed Ben on the staircase, Kenny's still there, but ends up pushing the walkie-talkie that Lee has that gave him the information of where the stranger is down an open skylight. And Krista goes down there to run and get it, but there's walkers down there, um, so they had to have Kenny go down there to give her a boost, but he ends up getting pushed back into the darkness and never heard from again. So no matter what, Kenny disappears or dead, Ben died. And if you guys don't know the thing, Kenny survived. Either he's able to escape using the darkness, or he's able to cover himself enough guts from the fight to escape or run through it. But he ends up shooting Ben so that way he doesn't have to suffer a fate. But eventually they do make it to the hotel, and as they're making across to welcoming township sign, it breaks. Strand and Omid and Krista on the other side, is Lee's the only one able to get to the hotel. Being bitten and turning, he's able to make his way through the herd. So he makes his way down the sign, goes through the herd. Between being bitten or just getting enough guts on him, he's able to smell like them and get into the hotel. It is revealed that Clementine's parents, mom and dad, they died in the hotel together, and this is where she was going to show Clementine this. He runs across a stranger. Apparently, this is from episode 2's ending, where there was that Volkswagen, I believe it was, with supplies. Basically, when they robbed the supplies, they killed off a family because it was just basically, I believe it was their son went missing during a trip, and because of this, the entire family went. The stranger's wife and daughter left him, and they found them in. Actually, no, it was also their son. They went, found the people, and then because of the supplies going missing, the rest of the family left him, and he ends up finding them dead in a ditch later. And I believe he keeps his wife's or daughter's head in a bowling bag, or a duffel bag, I don't know. But basically, he holds Lee on gunpoint, explaining the fact that Clementine was his priority now because you're the one who made me lose my family. Well, your group at least. And now I have Clementine, who's another little girl who you've been impressing wrong. And I'm the hero of my own story because I'm taking out the bad guy who screwed someone else over and trying to ruin a little girl's life. And then a little creepy thing he did say, I believe everyone, I don't know if it is the way it's supposed to be taken, but he says Clem and him could have a family. And I'm like, ew. And the thing is, I think Lee said she was 7 or 8, and then the Marsh House stranger one-upped him saying 8 or 9, and was like, yeah, her birthday was a while ago, and she just didn't say anything because everyone had other priorities. That's still in the single digits. It's not even. Most states, 16 is the legal age, but still, a 40-year-old man who had a family prior to this is now trying to harvest a little girl for another family. Ew. Basically, he's thinking he can be the hero of another story. Clementine either helps or Lee just straight up murders him. Um, or Clementine has murdered him to save Lee. And basically, um, after killing him, they bring in a walker, take out the guts, cover Clementine. They go through the herd, but Lee ends up blacking out because of his bite. She has to drag him into a shop that has a lock door, and Lee's so bad in shape and is about to turn, and eventually have to explain to her that you got bit. And this is like you're gonna be on your own. Krista and Omid are gonna be on this area. Go find them. I'll try to be with you, but just in case, this is where they are. He tries to get her out of there as fast as possible. But of course, eventually his body gives out on him. He walks her through how to kill a walker, how to get the keys, how to get the supplies to defend herself. You can tell her how to stay away from the city, stay in the groups, cut your hair short, how to use a gun, how to use a blunt object, how to use a knife. Basically, he goes through all this stuff, try to in the end of the scene, and basically there is a goodbye, and you can prepare Clementine for losing loved ones by having her shoot Lee to make sure he doesn't come back as one of the monsters. Basically, Clementine after this goes off by herself, and is on the edge of Savannah, and Omid and Krista do meet up with her. And then just to fast forward into season 2 to cover the beginning of the story, Omid and Krista are together. Krista's pregnancy advances into the months, and she has a belly. Basically, they have a pit stop to go to the bathroom real quick, clean themselves, have a chance to relieve. But Liam ends up leaving her backpack with a gun and a water bottle in it. Well, actually, no, leaves her gun in the backpack. She tries to fill up her water bottle, but ends up getting dropped and getting underneath the stalls. Clem goes to get it, but another girl come into the bathroom, finds her pack, grabs her gun, and Clem makes enough noise to be caught. And she puts her at gunpoint and says, "What else you got? Where's your other people? You're just a little fry. You have other people. I want their supplies. I want them to give me all you guys got." And basically, she's a slightly more advanced Clementine at this point. Basically, she has the skills, but yet she's too confident in herself. Omid comes in to try to take the gun away, but the door shuts and makes a noise. In panic, the girl turns around, shoots Omid, is killing him, and Chris comes in, seeing her husband dead, shoots the girl dead as well, and in her last moments, it's realized, even though she has all these survival skills, she's still a little girl that tries to cower in fear, but because of the world that they're in, can't be left alive in case that other things happen, so she's dead. And in last few moments of that flashback, she sees the gun that she was holding and sees that it is Clem's, and realizes that she left her stuff unattended and blames Clem for the death of Omid. A few years later, they have a few winters. The baby did not survive the winters because they couldn't find enough supplies. They didn't have Omid to kind of push them in a good supply direction. And this makes Clem and Omid kind of cross, but yet Lee did ask Chris to watch over her, so she sticks with her. Sticks with Clem. Basically, she tries to help have Clem other things like how to start a fire, how to look for some supplies, how to hunt, and basically she still blames for the death of the baby and death of Omid. And after Krista goes to do something by herself, I believe it's either goes to the bathroom or hunting, she ends up getting caught by a group of Nimrods, I like to call them. They're just basically another group of men survivors wanting to take advantage of another opportunity for another survivor, take their supplies, slash, it's a female. It was just a group of men, so they could be having other ideas. Clem either helps them, or one of them notices Clem, and Krista either gets killed, or Clem is able to distract them away from her, but they do try to run after Krista. So either she dies, so it's like, no matter what, she's a determined character, which you gotta kind of think when she runs away, they probably catch her. With how weak of a state she's in, and the fact that they're a group of men, they do all the hunting and all that, so they got more robust. So whenever she's running, they have a lot more energy. Probably eventually caught up with her, and killed her after that little stunt. Clem struggles with I think one or two people. She ends up killing one of them. The other one almost gets hers, but she ends up being pushed into a washed out stream. She gets stranded a while later. Well, not stranded, but she gets pushed on shore. She goes walking around trying to find Krista, find other things. Ends up finding a dog who used to be owned by a family that were in the woods in the camping when it started, and basically everyone else died. And the father, I believe, was the last, and to stop himself from doing anything when he was turning, he tied himself to a tree. And basically, I'm trying to make this to where that you meet the new group. She gets the knife from the old owner, opens the can of beans, shares with the dog, but the dog gets greedy and bites her for the can. And because this is a deep wound, she starts to bleed out, starts feeling weak. There's either a choice to, well, actually, yes, no matter what, you throw the dog into an impalement situation like Ben, and you can either put him down to make sure he doesn't feel any more pain, or let him be there. And Clementine trying to find a safe place away from that, she goes through the woods, ends up getting surrounded by walkers, and before she is completely weak, too weak to do anything, she is about to get killed by walkers before two new men, Luke and what's his name, Pete. Pete come across her, save her, bring her to their home. We meet several other survivors. Nate, which is the nephew of Pete. We meet Rebecca and her boyfriend slash husband, Alan. Rebecca is pregnant like Krista. She's months in. You meet Carlos. He has a daughter named Sarah. Who else was in that? I believe that was it. But basically, because of her arm, the group is divided. Either they're trying to help a little girl, or you can't trust her. She's a stranger, and also she's got a bite mark, so you can't say for certain. Carlos happens to have some kind of medical background, so he's able to look at it and say that I can't tell what it is because it is very deep. And Clem does say that she got attacked by a dog, and he puts it with a grain of salt. It can be a dog, but yet it can also be a walker. They end up locking her in a shed, and instead of bandaging up, and says, if that's a walker bite, we're not wasting medical supplies on you. And before we go any further, wait, I'm trying to actually remember. Actually, no, that's not how it ends. Clementine ends up getting out of there, dealing with a walker, escaping the shed, going in there, whispering, listening into stuff, becomes befriended with Sarah, the daughter of Carlos, steals medical supplies, a needle, some string, some fisher, uh, fishing pole line, to scissors, and also I think rubbing alcohol. She's able to cleanse her wound. I'm trying to remember, not cleanse her wound, clean out her wound. She uses the fishing line and the needle to stitch it up, and then she has a bandage to go around. She kills a walker, and then the group figure out what the hell the noise is. See her kill the walker, sees that she's a badass, and also sees that she's uh, cleaned herself up, and then the fact that that puts more on, you're a stranger and you're also doing this kind of stuff to her, which makes some people not trust her as much, but also understand that she's also a good survivor to where she can deal with the stuff by herself. So they give her a meal. Rebecca, being a freaking moody woman, explains that she doesn't trust her. You stole supplies, and at this point you can kind of throw sus. It's like, whose baby is if it ain't Alan's? Because in the middle of the little sneaky situation, she does in the bathroom when you're trying to get the bandage, I believe it is, or rubbing alcohol. She does ask her. She does say to herself in the sink, "Let's hope that it is his and not the other guy's." And it's like, so whose really is it? And basically, you can talk to the other people, and eventually you get to go with Nick, not Nate, Nick and Pete to go on a hunting trip. Clem's ready to go, kind of so that she can do what needs to be done to make sure that she's with this group and kind of pay them back for what she did. And it ends up going wrong with, oh shoot, oh no, they come across a martyr. They find a whole bunch of survivors dead, which ends up being the survivors that were trying to attack Krista. Clementine finds one that's still alive, who was the one who pushed her over the side into the stream. You can either give him water or not. It doesn't matter. Before he can even say anything, walkers come up. Nick and Pete are stranded on either side of the stream. And I believe at this point, no matter what, Pete is bitten on the ankle by a walker, and you can either go with the other one, and basically, if you go with Pete, Nick runs off, and Pete and Clementine have to go run into a delivery truck and hope that they're safe there for the day. And then if you go with Nick, Pete just gets surrounded by walkers and killed. And you end up running to a bar cellar or something like that. And that's basically how the end of the beginning of episode 2. Now, I really have to end this video, but that's episodes 3 to 5 of season 1, and then episode 1 of season 2. Another thing that I will say is I'm going to be watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I know, it's a JoJo reference. It's going to suck. I fell in love with JoJo. I have Jotaro. I already showed you guys that one before. Bet I'd rather have a summary. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm going to have a summary and go over each and every part. That way it gives me a little bit more content, but I also would love to actually see the show, because I've been seeing nothing but the comics clips, the fights, the gameplay and all that. Basically, I seen with the fandom and with little bits of it, and it's just like I really want to see it for myself. So we'll be doing that, and then as I finish, I'll be doing the parts. So part 1 of Jonathan, part 2 of Joseph, part 3 of Jotaro, which is my favorite one, part 4 of Josuke, part 5 Giorno, and part 6 with Jolene. Which is, I believe, still in progress, but there is quite a few episodes already. So anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.